In 1952, a country music legend walked into a Nashville bank vault and deposited a mysterious package. He told the bank manager, "If anything happens to me, burn it." That package remained untouched for decades, its contents unknown. When the vault was finally opened in 2007, it was empty. This is just one of country music's most perplexing mysteries that have haunted Nashville for generations. From vanishing heirloom guitars worth millions to unexplained paranormal encounters in historic mansions. These are the dark secrets the country music industry never talks about. Porter Wagoner stood as one of the most recognizable faces in country music, his rhinestone suits gleaming under the spotlight of the Grand Ole Opry stage for over 5 decades. But behind the sparkle and charm lay a web of secrets that would only emerge after his death in 2007. In the months leading up to his passing, Wagoner became increasingly paranoid about his legacy, confiding in close friends about documents that would change everything. 3 different attorneys came forward after his death, each claiming to possess Wagoner's final will. The official document filed in Nashville's probate court painted a modest picture, a straightforward division of assets among family members. But whispers began circulating about another will, one that Wagoner had allegedly stored in an old guitar case beneath his bed. A former band member revealed that Wagoner had spoken of hidden assets, including master recordings and property deeds, that weren't listed in any official documents. He claimed Wagoner had developed an elaborate system of hiding his true wealth, sparked by fears that his success would make him a target. Bank records showed unusual withdrawals in the years before his death, but the money's destination remained untraceable. The mystery deepened when Wagoner's longtime manager discovered a letter, dated just weeks before his death, mentioning a safety deposit box in a small-town Tennessee bank. When investigators located the box, they found it contained only a single piece of paper with geographic coordinates. These coordinates led to a remote property in the Smoky Mountains, but searches revealed nothing but untouched wilderness. The most compelling evidence of a secret will emerge when a backstage worker at the Grand Ole Opry came forward with a story about Wagoner's final performance. He described watching the country star slip an envelope into the lining of his favorite rhinestone suit, saying it contained the truth about everything. That suit disappeared from his estate collection within days of his death. Private investigators hired by family members traced the suit to a vintage clothing collector in Texas, but by the time they arrived, the collector had died, and the suit was nowhere to be found. More puzzling still, Wagoner's personal diary, discovered in 2019, contained entries about a mysterious meeting with a Memphis lawyer who specialized in offshore accounts. The lawyer in question vanished without a trace in 2008, leaving behind a trail of questions about other country music legends' hidden fortunes. Today, the battle over Wagoner's true legacy continues. Some believe the missing will contains revelations about his personal life that could reshape country music history. Others insist it holds the key to millions in unclaimed royalties and property. The mystery has spawned countless theories, from secret families to hidden recording vaults. But like many of country music's deepest secrets, the truth remains locked away, perhaps forever. While Wagoner's missing will points to secrets taken to the grave, another country pioneer left behind mysteries of a different kind, ones captured on magnetic tape and lost to the flames of time. The story of Patsy Montana's vanishing recordings would reshape our understanding of country music's earliest days. In the dusty corners of a Chicago storage facility in 1952, hundreds of master recordings sat in unmarked boxes. Among them were the lost sessions of Patsy Montana, the first female country artist to sell 1 million records. Her groundbreaking hit, "I Want to Be a Cowboy Sweetheart," had already cemented her place in history, but what lay in those boxes might have revealed an even more revolutionary artist. Eyewitnesses from the recording sessions described Montana experimenting with sounds decades ahead of their time. She allegedly recorded tracks mixing traditional yodeling with early rhythm and blues, creating a hybrid style that wouldn't become popular until the 1970s. One sound engineer claimed she had recorded an entire album of Spanish-language country songs aimed at breaking into the Latin American market, something unheard of in the 1930s. Then came the fire. On a sweltering summer night, flames engulfed the storage facility. The official report blamed faulty wiring, but rumors persisted about intentional destruction. Former employees whispered about men in suits removing boxes just hours before the blaze. Montana herself remained surprisingly quiet about the loss, leading some to speculate she knew more than she revealed. Decades later, a collector in Minnesota claimed to have discovered a single surviving recording from those sessions. The acetate disc, badly warped but partially playable, contained 30 seconds of what appeared to be Montana singing in a style that blended country with African-American gospel traditions. Music historians who examined the fragment declared it revolutionary for its time. But before it could be properly authenticated, the collector died and the recording vanished once again. In 2015, during renovations of an old radio station in Oklahoma, workers discovered a metal box sealed inside a wall. Inside were 3 unlabeled transcription discs, along with a letter signed by Montana herself. The letter mentioned recordings that could change everything. But when audio engineers attempted to play the discs, they crumbled to dust. Montana took whatever secrets she knew to her grave in 1996. But her influence on country music hardly ended there. Stories persist of surviving recordings hidden in private collections, waiting to be discovered. Some say these lost sessions could rewrite the history of country music, proving that its evolution was far more diverse and experimental than previously thought. While Patsy Montana's lost recordings remain trapped in time, another country legend's presence refuses to fade away. In fact, visitors to Minnie Pearl's historic Nashville mansion claim she never really left, and they have the chilling evidence to prove it. Nashville's most famous address holds more than just memories. The historic mansion where Minnie Pearl, the beloved comedian of the Grand Ole Opry, spent her final years has become ground zero for unexplained phenomena that continue to puzzle paranormal investigators and country music historians alike. During her lifetime, Pearl, known offstage as Sarah Cannon, often joked about sharing her home with spirits. But after her death in 1996, the playful comments took on a darker meaning. The first incidents began when the mansion underwent renovations in 1998. Construction workers reported tools moving overnight, and fresh paint would mysteriously peel away, revealing Pearl's preferred color scheme underneath. A security guard quit his post after repeatedly hearing Pearl's signature "Howdy" greeting echo through empty halls at midnight. He described the voice as crystal clear, complete with the distinct laugh that followed her catchphrase. Sound specialists later recorded unexplained audio anomalies in the exact spot, capturing what they described as fragments of vintage Grand Ole Opry broadcasts. Despite no electronic equipment being present, the mansion's new owners documented dozens of inexplicable events. Visitors reported seeing a woman in a flowered hat disappearing around corners. More mysteriously, the price tag that Pearl famously left dangling from her hat would appear in photographs taken in her former dressing room, only to vanish when people looked at the spot directly. In 2012, during a historic home tour, 23 separate visitors reported smelling Pearl's signature perfume in her former bedroom. The scent would appear and disappear instantly, defying normal fragrance behavior. Later that year, a maintenance worker discovered a hidden closet containing one of Pearl's stage costumes. When they attempted to move it to a museum, the clothing vanished, only to reappear back in the closet the next day. The most compelling evidence emerged during a renovation in 2019. Workers uncovered a diary hidden within the walls, dating from Pearl's final years. In it, she wrote about feeling so connected to the house that she might never leave, even after the final curtain call. The last entry, written just days before her death, contained a cryptic message: "The show must go on, and so must I." Modern paranormal investigators have captured electromagnetic readings that spiked dramatically in Pearl's former dressing room, particularly around her favorite mirror. Some theorize that the intense energy of her performances, combined with her deep love for entertaining, created what they call a residual haunting, a kind of eternal encore. While Minnie Pearl's spirit seems determined to keep performing, another country legend's legacy remains trapped in a different kind of limbo. The battle over Lefty Frizzell's estate has raged for nearly half a century, and some say the truth lies hidden in a collection of long-lost recordings that could be worth millions. When Lefty Frizzell died in 1975, he left behind more than just his revolutionary vocal style. He left a maze of legal documents, missing masters, and financial mysteries that have haunted country music for decades. His estate, initially valued at a modest sum, suddenly became the center of one of music's longest-running legal battles when rumors emerged about hidden assets and unclaimed royalties. The trouble began when a former producer came forward with contracts showing Frizzell had recorded dozens of unreleased songs in the years before his death. These sessions, reportedly experimental in nature, showcased Frizzell merging his distinctive honky-tonk style with emerging rock and folk influences. The master tapes vanished shortly after his death, but witnesses described them as revolutionary, potentially worth millions in today's market. In 1982, a janitor at a defunct Nashville recording studio discovered a box of unlabeled tapes hidden in a ventilation duct. 3 of the reels contained Frizzell's voice, performing songs no one had ever heard. Before they could be authenticated, the tapes disappeared from a lawyer's office. Some claim they were stolen, others believe they were deliberately hidden by someone who knew their true value. The plot thickened when investigators uncovered a network of shell companies Frizzell had established in the early 1970s. Bank records showed substantial royalty payments flowing into these accounts, but the money seemed to vanish into thin air. Adding to the mystery, Frizzell's personal diary contained references to a retirement fund he'd established in the Cayman Islands, but no such account was ever found. Family members have spent decades locked in courtroom battles, each claiming different versions of Frizzell's intentions. His former manager insists that Lefty had set up a complex system to protect his wealth, inspired by his earlier experiences with unscrupulous music industry practices. Meanwhile, music historians believe the missing recordings could reveal Frizzell's influence on artists like Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard was even more profound than previously thought. In 2018, a former session musician came forward with a shocking claim. Frizzell had recorded an entire album with rock musicians in 1974, experimenting with a sound that bridged country and psychedelic rock. The tapes, along with contracts and photographs from the sessions, were allegedly stored in a bank vault in Texas. When investigators finally located the vault, they found it had been emptied decades ago. The contents checked out by someone using Frizzell's name 3 years after his death. The most recent development came in 2022 when a collector in Europe claimed to possess one of the missing master tapes. Audio experts who examined samples noted techniques and production styles that were decades ahead of their time. Before the tape could be fully analyzed, the collector mysteriously withdrew from negotiations and disappeared. Some speculate the tape was privately sold to a wealthy collector who wanted to keep Frizzell's innovations secret, while others believe music industry powers intervened to prevent revelations that could rewrite country music history. While the fight over Frizzell's fortune continues behind closed doors, another piece of country music history vanished in plain sight. The disappearance of Hank Snow's legendary Martin D28 guitar sparked a hunt that would span continents and lead investigators down a trail of deception and mystery. Hank Snow's Martin D28 guitar wasn't just an instrument, it was a piece of country music history that had strummed its way through over 50 years of hits. The guitar's distinctive mother-of-pearl inlays and unique wear patterns made it one of the most recognizable instruments in country music. Then in 1999, it vanished without a trace. Snow had often said the guitar was alive with memories, having played it on classics like I'm Moving On and The Golden Rocket. He turned down numerous offers from collectors and museums, including one bid reportedly reaching 7 figures. The guitar's last documented appearance was at Snow's memorial service, where family members remembered placing it in its case and securing it in his home vault. 3 weeks after Snow's death, his son visited the vault to catalog his father's belongings. The case was there, but the guitar was gone. More puzzling still, the vault's security system showed no signs of tampering, and only 3 people knew the combination. The case itself contained an unusual clue, a single guitar pick bearing the initials WN that didn't belong to anyone in Snow's circle. Private investigators followed leads across North America. Reports surfaced of the guitar appearing in private auctions in Toronto, Nashville, and Los Angeles. But each time, the trail went cold. One collector claimed to have seen it in Japan, mounted on the wall of a billionaire's private music room. When investigators arrived, they found only a convincing replica. The investigation took an unexpected turn when Snow's former road manager revealed the existence of detailed photographs and measurements of the guitar that Snow had commissioned in 1998. These specifications were precise enough to create an exact duplicate, leading some to speculate that multiple copies might be circulating in the collector's market. Adding to the intrigue, a former museum curator came forward with information about Snow's private conversations in his final months. According to the curator, Snow had expressed concerns about his legacy and mentioned plans to ensure his prized guitar would continue its journey in the right hands. He had also made cryptic references to a letter explaining everything, though no such letter has ever been found. In 2017, a breakthrough seemed imminent when a guitar matching the D28's description appeared in an Oklahoma pawn shop. The shop's owner reported that an elderly man had brought it in, claiming it was time for the truth to come out. But before authorities could examine it, the guitar and the mysterious seller disappeared. Security footage from that day was mysteriously erased, and the pawn shop owner later recanted parts of his story under mysterious circumstances. Today, collectors and historians continue their search, following a trail of clues that spans decades and continents. Some believe the guitar is hidden in plain sight, passing through private collections under a different identity. Others insist it's being held as collateral in a decades-old debt, waiting for the right moment to resurface. While Hank Snow's guitar continues to elude collectors, another country music mystery revolves around words rather than wood and steel. June Carter Cash left behind a collection of letters that could reshape everything we know about one of country music's greatest love stories, if only someone could find them. June Carter. Cash never went anywhere without her writing materials. Throughout her decades-long career, she documented every significant moment in letters that she kept in a weathered leather satchel. These weren't just any correspondence. They contained intimate details about the evolution of country music, her complex relationship with Johnny Cash, and secrets about some of Nashville's most powerful figures. After her death in 2003, the satchel containing these historical documents disappeared. The last person to see the complete collection was June's personal assistant, who described letters dating back to the 1940s. They included correspondence with Elvis Presley during his early career, detailed accounts of Johnny Cash's battles with addiction, and what she claimed were explosive revelations about the dark side of the country music industry. The assistant remembered June saying these letters would set the record straight about everything. Shortly before her death, June had begun organizing these letters for a planned memoir. She told friends she was finally ready to tell the whole truth about her life in country music. The letters were last seen in her study at the Cash compound in Hendersonville, Tennessee. After her passing, family members searching for the collection found only empty envelopes and a cryptic note reading, "Some stories aren't ready to be told." In 2006, a hotel maid in Memphis discovered a bundle of old letters in a room safe that had been unopened for years. The letters bore June's distinctive handwriting and contained detailed accounts of early recording sessions with the Carter family. By the time historians arrived to authenticate them, the letters had vanished, and the maid who found them couldn't be located. The mystery deepened when a Nashville memorabilia dealer came forward with a single letter from the collection, dated 1968. Its contents suggested the existence of recordings never released to the public. Sessions featuring June, Johnny, and several other country legends performing songs that dealt with controversial political topics of the era. The letter mentioned these recordings were hidden away until the world is ready. Former employees of the Cash estate have reported strange occurrences surrounding attempts to locate the letters. Research files would go missing, hard drives would mysteriously crash, and people investigating the disappearance would receive anonymous warnings to let sleeping dogs lie. One archivist claimed to have found a complete index of the letter's contents, only to have it disappear from a locked office overnight. Most intriguing are the claims from June's inner circle that she had created multiple copies of the most sensitive letters, distributing them among trusted friends with instructions about when and how they should be made public. Some believe these letters contain revelations that could rewrite the history of country music's golden age. While June Carter Cash's letters remain hidden from public view, another country legend left behind a more visible mystery. Webb Pierce's mansion, with its famous guitar-shaped swimming pool, holds secrets that even its walls won't tell, and some say the evidence is still hidden within its foundations. The mansion at 811 Curtiswood Lane stood as a monument to country music excess, complete with its iconic guitar-shaped swimming pool, silver dollar-studded bedroom, and custom-made cowboy decor worth millions. When Webb Pierce died in 1991, the property should have passed quietly into Nashville history. Instead, it became the center of a mystery that continues to baffle music historians and treasure hunters alike. During the mansion's heyday in the 1950s and 60s, Pierce regularly hosted legendary parties attended by country music's elite. But beneath the rhinestone-studded surface, the home allegedly served another purpose. Construction workers who renovated the property in the 1970s reported finding hidden rooms and mysterious safes built into the walls. One contractor discovered a concealed vault in the basement, but when he returned the next day with proper tools to open it, the entrance had been sealed with fresh concrete. The guitar-shaped pool itself became part of the mystery. In 1983, during routine maintenance, workers found a waterproof strongbox embedded in the pool's deepest end. Before it could be retrieved, unnamed men claiming to be Pierce's representatives arrived and ordered the pool immediately refilled. The workers were paid triple their usual rate to forget what they'd seen. After Pierce's death, the mansion's sale was surrounded by unusual circumstances. Despite multiple high-profile buyers expressing interest, the property sold quickly and quietly to an offshore company for well below market value. The new owners immediately began extensive renovations, focusing particularly on the basement and pool areas. Local residents reported seeing lights in the mansion at odd hours and hearing the sounds of heavy equipment long after permitted construction hours. In 2002, a former household employee came forward with a startling claim. Pierce had converted much of his wealth into gold and silver during the 1970s banking crisis, hiding it throughout the property. The employee described helping Pierce create a detailed map of hiding spots, which the star kept in his favorite guitar case. Both the map and the guitar case vanished after his death. Most recently, in 2019, renovation workers discovered a hidden room behind the mansion's main fireplace. Inside, they found stacks of ledgers documenting transactions with offshore banks, along with photographs showing Pierce meeting with notorious figures from the music industry's darker days. Before investigators could examine the documents, a mysterious fire broke out in that wing of the mansion, destroying everything except a single page that mentioned assets secured in plain sight. Today, the mansion's guitar-shaped pool remains a tourist attraction, while its deeper mysteries stay locked away. Urban explorers occasionally attempt to search the grounds at night, claiming to hear strange sounds coming from behind the walls. Perhaps the settling of an old house, or perhaps something more valuable shifting in its hidden spaces. While Webb Pierce's mansion guards its secrets above ground, another country star's legacy remains locked away in a different kind of vault. The mysterious recordings of Faron Young have sparked a decades-long hunt that leads straight into the heart of country music's golden age. The day before Faron Young died in 1996, he made a phone call to his attorney mentioning a vault containing recordings that would change everything people think they know about country music. Hours later, he took his own life, leaving behind a trail of clues that has led investigators through decades of dead ends and false starts. The vault wasn't just a legend. Multiple studio employees confirmed its existence. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, Young had maintained a private recording space in the basement of his Nashville office building. There, he recorded hundreds of songs that never saw official release. Musicians who participated in these sessions described them as experimental, blending traditional country with everything from jazz to early electronic music. In 1975, Young abruptly sealed the studio and moved all the tapes to an undisclosed location. A former secretary recalled him working late into the night, carefully cataloging each recording and making multiple copies. She remembered seeing labels with names of famous artists who'd secretly collaborated with Young, including rock and soul musicians who would have shocked the country establishment of the time. The trail picked up again in 1988 when a Memphis record store owner claimed Young had stored dozens of boxes in his shop's basement. By the time investigators arrived, the basement had flooded. They found evidence of recent activity. Someone had removed heavy objects just days before. More telling was a logbook showing weekly payments from Young's account to maintain precise temperature and humidity controls in the basement. After Young's death, his son discovered a series of coded letters in his father's office safe. The letters contained what appeared to be geographic coordinates and a list of dates spanning 30 years. Each date corresponded to a significant event in country music history, but some dates hadn't happened yet. Investigators noted that every previous date on the list coincided with the death of a major country music figure. The most compelling evidence emerged in 2020 when renovation crews discovered a hidden room in Young's former office building. Inside, they found a single reel-to-reel tape labeled "Listen Last." The tape contained Young's voice describing the location of everything I couldn't release while they were still alive. Before experts could analyze the rest of the recording, it mysteriously disappeared from a secured evidence room. Today, music historians estimate the vault could contain over 1,000 unreleased recordings, including collaborations with artists from genres that rarely mixed in those segregated times. Some believe Young's recordings document the secret history of country music, the collaborations, innovations, and relationships that challenge the conservative image Nashville worked so hard to maintain. From missing wills to vanished guitars, from haunted mansions to secret vaults, these mysteries continue to haunt the corridors of country music history. Some say the truth about these legends lies buried in bank vaults, hidden in walls, or locked away in private collections. Others believe certain secrets are better left untold. But as long as these mysteries remain unsolved, they'll continue to fascinate those who dare to look beyond the rhinestones and into the shadows of country music's golden age.